some of the firefighters and rescue crews have had to use ladders and jump the fence in order to rescue people. You can see that firefighter there, and those two have been rescued. I want to talk to Jerry here, who has been rescuing folks since yesterday. He's with the Fort Bend County Road and Bridge, been here and using this dump truck right here to rescue a lot of people. You said yesterday more than 300?
At least in the dump truck, the Fort Bend County dump truck, yes ma'am.
And so what's it been like for you the past 24, 48 hours?
It's sad. It's real sad out here. There's a lot of water, a lot of people. It's just bad. It's real bad.
Fox 26 has team coverage tonight, starting with our Randy Wallace live in LaPorte. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Caitlin. According to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, all detections were below levels that would represent a public health concern. Now, if there's no significant weather changes, that should remain. But everyone should continue to monitor this situation. The number of tanks on fire at Intercontinental Terminals Company has gone from 7 to 6. The tank no longer burning was empty. Responders continue to work with foam and water to prevent the fire from spreading. Company officials say they are making progress on extinguishing the fires still burning in 3 tanks that contain chemical and gas components.
3 are intermittent fires, so they flare up and then they go down. So we're making strong headway with the fire.
We've been hearing throughout Harris County concerns about the plume that is now making its way across the county.
Harris County has opened its Emergency Operations Center and monitoring the situation closely.
Right now what we're seeing is no elevated levels because the plume is high enough that it's not affecting us here close to the ground.
The wind, county officials say, has kept the plume high enough to not harm the public. But what happens if that changes?
If that plume were to come down, we are ready to let the community know that it is happening and to inform the community of the risks as well as any action they need to take.
And the good news in the situation we're dealing with is we're not looking at any significant weather changes.
The county, city, and state will continue to monitor the air quality. Now, Intercontinental Terminals Company is expected to hold its next media briefing tomorrow morning at 10. While there is no public health concerns now, anyone with any sort of respiratory illnesses should remain indoors. Reporting live from LaPorte, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
Just to let you know what we're doing, this area here is all flooded, and the only way you can get to where all of the evacuees are being staged is that boat. And there's multiple boats that are going back and forth. The water is pretty high, and so we have a boat that is coming for us so that we can get to the CVS and talk to people who are being evacuated.
Glamorous, easy, laid back, and chic. You're taking a look inside the Astoria on Post Oak Boulevard.
It's a different lifestyle. It's much more carefree, and it's much more exciting.
Modern architecture combined with Art Deco features
I love this.
and endless amenities has made this one of the highest priced high-rises in Houston.
We have a $6 million penthouse. We have a few residences have their own private swimming pool on their terrace. I don't know anybody else that's doing that for sure in Texas.
Each condo hires their own interior designer to make their space as unique as possible.
I can tell you that Laura Yu did the design, and I can tell you she did an excellent job.
The lobby of the Astoria was designed by the same person who designs all Christian Louboutin stores. Talk about high-end.
You have a valet to park your car. You've got an incredible pool that overlooks the entire Post Oak Boulevard. You've got a resident room. You've got a fitness center. You've got a guest suite if you have people coming to stay for the weekend. Isn't it beautiful?
Yes. It's like living in a 5-star hotel, just a little bit pricier. The maintenance fees at the Astoria will cost you an additional $14.50 a month.
As more and more people accept that style of living, obviously other builders have moved into the sector.
That's why you've seen all the cranes all over Houston. Davis is currently working on high-rises, one with even more extravagant details. But with the oil slump, many are asking, who is buying these luxurious spaces?
Well, we really haven't been affected much by the oil downturn because That young executive is not my target. They're mostly couples, and again, middle-aged couples or single divorced people, and they can afford $1 million plus residence.
A lot of buyers nowadays are international buyers, so in high-rise market we haven't seen any decline at all, actually an increase in several buildings.
Davis says average prices of condominiums are bumping up to $600 a square foot. But that's a third to a quarter of what you'd pay in New York City or any other major market. And of course, the higher up you are, the more you have to pay. All condos have amazing views, but some even wrap all the way around the unit. Plus,
you're generally living next to dining and shopping, and so you have what I consider a higher lifestyle.
Okay, so can't live that high. You can rent similar, smaller spaces in high-rise apartments, also becoming more popular in Houston. Check out Sky House in the River Oaks district. Not too shabby with prices starting at $1,200 a month. Valet parking, concierge, rooftop pools, and more.
I love the custom-made closets.
It seems more people than ever are wanting the high life in Houston. Scarlett Fakar, Fox 26 News.
All of the boats have gone far deep into the neighborhood here. This is the Grand Mission neighborhood. And what firefighters have also been doing, just volunteering, and they're going above these fences and jumping over the fence and then trying to get to the other side. We've seen kids and elderly all coming over using the ladder to get around and bringing whatever they can on their backs. You can see some people here just using their garbage bags to do just that. Sir, are you evacuating here? You're helping them out? Okay, all right, thank you. So this boat right here is what we're gonna be using, and just see how high this water is. And apparently it just gets deeper and deeper. And sir, you've been helping folks here too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's it been like down there, because you've been on a boat there too?
It's deep. The water is up to the doorways and over in some situations.
Tonight we hear from the daughter of the Capitol murder victim. Fox 26's Randy Wallace joining us live from downtown with the latest in his ongoing series. Randy?
Caitlin, I've interviewed dozens of relatives who've lost loved ones because of the revolving door at the criminal courthouse. You're about to hear from a woman who lost 2 loved ones in separate crimes, both defendants free from jail on multiple bonds.
The day that he passed and the way that he passed, something broke inside me that nobody can ever put back together.
Ina Jeter lost her 54-year-old father, Silvano Cortez, on October 2017 during a home invasion. In June of 2018, then 17-year-old Jonathan Vera was charged with capital murder. His bond set at $250,000. Then in March of last year, 351st Criminal District Court Judge Natalia Cornelio, seen here in a 2019 interview, lowered Vera's bond to just $50,000. That questionable decision made national headlines.
I've not seen a lower bond for capital murder in my 30-plus years, and he gets out.
In no time at all, Vera is accused of taking another life.
He runs a red light, and now he's accused of killing a 23-year-old TSU student named Summer Chester.
We didn't even know that he was out on bond. Our family just found out this past Wednesday that he got out on bond. And we found out that he killed someone else while he was on bond. So we were shocked, angry.
Jeter has this to say to 351st Criminal District Court Judge Natalia Cornelio.
I asked the judge, are you telling me that my dad's life was only worth $5,000? What he had to pay to get out? And that this young lady's life, that it's now gone? What do you tell her family?
Jeter's 16-year-old nephew, Esteban Alcaraz, was shot to death last November. His alleged killer, 18-year-old Nathan Salazar. Nathan Salazar, he was out on bond. He was out on 2 felony bonds when he kills your nephew.
Yes. It's a problem. It's not okay. Why does this keep happening?
Judge Cornelio, we would love to hear an explanation from you. I'd like to interview you and any other criminal district court judge. You just say when and where, and I'll make it happen. Reporting live from downtown, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
I think this is the boat that we're going to be taking.
It is.
Okay, and so we've been just waiting for the boat. We didn't want to get on a boat where there's people being rescued, obviously, because we don't want to take up any room. But over there, you can see in the distance, it's kind of hard to see, it's the CVS, which is where my photographer Raymond and I have been trying to get to so that we can see some of the rescues here. You doing okay?
Yeah.
All right. The water is kind of high. All right.
It's higher in there.
Yeah. All right. You hold the mic here. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're on the boat here, and it's going to be a little different for you. We're trying to get the photographer out here as well. And you can see there's a boat coming right now, and they will have folks that are being rescued, and you can see that. So it's just an ongoing effort to make sure that everybody is safe.
So I hope this story doesn't come as a shock to you so much as a surprise that we don't hear stories like this more often.
Eagle, eagle, eagle. Nice. Roger. 1, 2, 3, step, boys.
Once I step onto the field, once I put my pads on, I'm not a girl, I'm a football player.
Under the Friday night lights in Texas, you can't help but notice her.
Let's go, Eagle.
At 5'3" with amber hair, she's not a typical sight on the gridiron. But to Dawson High School, Claire Jeffries is not a novelty. She's their varsity kicker.
I think it's awesome. I think that like diversity in the football field and everywhere, I think that's awesome.
I think it's really inspiring. There's not a lot of girls that play football, and I think it's really cool.
She's setting an example that anything is possible.
Claire grew up playing soccer and first made the football team in the 7th grade.
How did your friends react when you got on the team?
They were so excited. All my friends were like, I'm gonna go make you a fat head.
Coach Eric Wells says putting her on varsity was a no-brainer.
She's solid. She makes good contact.
Claire Jeffries' kick is good.
She's tough as a boot. Like I've always said, the kids rally around her, protect her. She's just an Eagle. She's a Dawson Eagle. The only thing different about Claire is she has her own locker room.
And that's the only difference Claire wants.
They don't cut me slack because of my gender. They say, you're a football player, so you need to prove yourself.
Which she does. At this year's homecoming game, Claire put 5 points on the board in the first half, a competitiveness that helps her fit right in the Texas football scene.
These boys always really have my back, and that's the best part to me, is like whenever I'm on this field, whenever I'm off this field, I know that I have an entire family supporting me.
Her advice for other women wanting to break the mold?
If you don't ask or if you don't try, the answer will always be no, and it'll never happen. So I might as well go try. If I don't make something, it's okay. At least I put in 100% of my effort, because you never know what can happen.
Claire says she didn't just get handed anything. She worked hard for it, and she earned her spot on the team. The coach agrees.
This is a common sight here. We've been reporting since the very beginning, going all over the Houston area and surrounding areas that have been affected. And if you pan over there, you can see that truck almost submerged in water. And the fear around here, according to emergency personnel, is when this water subsides and actually recedes, what are we going to find? And we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have been reaching out asking what can they do, and my first words is definitely pray and wait till we make it through this week, because all the way up to Friday.
It's so dark here. It's surreal. The only light you see is from headlights. Imagine picking up the pieces of your life in heat and humidity with power and air conditioning, a distant dream.
Every tree in the neighborhood pretty much is down. We have a big tree in the back that snapped in half, and our neighbor has trees on her house.
Trees litter the ground like matchsticks. Power lines look like contortionists.
Unbelievable. It looks like a tornado has come through or a bomb has gone off. We couldn't even recognize many of the landmarks that I didn't even know this was our street.
As bad as it is, it could have been worse. Bill Lowry's neighbor, Ann Holcomb, who he says is 80, but she won't say, rode out the Cat 4 hurricane.
It was like standing at the front door and holding the nose of a 747 airplane.
Did that sound like a freight train?
Yes, and then while I had power, I still had power till about 12 midnight, and the water was rushing down Lake Street just like a fast moving river.
The wind moved this pole around so much back and forth that now there's a hole here in the ground. The high Lake Charles residents were feeling, knowing they survived this catastrophic storm, is fading. It's being replaced with how long will it take to be whole again?
When can we get back? When we have electricity? When, how are we going to get this all cleared? It's just overwhelming right now.
This is different. This is sad. This is the destruction of this town.
People in Louisiana are a lot like Texans. Everything might seem impossible now, but we know it will all work out in the end. Reporting from Lake Charles, Randy Wallace, Fox 26 News.
I don't even understand how it could even rain so much, man. Like, it's crazy. And then the hard part is some families don't want to leave their house. Like, we've been out here and some people are staying, which I can't necessarily be mad at them, but it's just, I don't know, it's heartbreaking, man. But definitely, I know the George R. Brown, I haven't had access to get there yet. I've been trying to get there. All the routes are closed, so it's a lot of people need supplies. Anybody who have boats, that very helpful now, whether they're big or small. Trucks are needed. Yeah. At all the shelters, all baby things are needed, food, clothes. I talked to Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee yesterday, so I told her as soon as we have access, we'll be out there to help her and the mayor too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just unity in Houston. Everybody just trying to come together to do what we can, man.
That really is the pulse of Houston, and it's being shown and illustrated here.
The art of tattooing has been around for 5,000 years. Fashion photography has been around since the mid-1800s, and Facebook arrived about 10 years ago. What do you get when you combine these three elements? Well, you get Veronica Gomez.
In your own words, describe what you do.
I am a tattooed glamour model, and I started this because there's a lot of models out there that do runway, Vogue, glamour magazines. I'm like, why can't I do that? I have tattoos and everything, but I'm probably better or just the same as all those other girls. Are you ready to get real right now?
At a recent photo shoot for one of her many projects, I asked the lovely lady with the eye-catching ink how this all got started for her.
My dad told me to never get guns, skulls, or knives. So the next day, I went and got the whole thing of guns, skulls, knives, grenades, straight razors, brass knuckles, all that, just for my dad.
Yes, Dad eventually got over it, and Veronica moved on to modeling.
That was probably 2010. I did my first actual real photo shoot, and after that, everything started shooting up from there.
She created a Facebook frenzy when she decided to launch her fan page.
I started seeing other models get in with the fan page, and I was just like, that's weird, fans. That's weird. But it works. So the more people that you have, if you post anything that says, hey, I have an online store, the more people will buy those merchandise, So it worked, and all of a sudden it's just started shooting up and up. And it was kind of weird.
Veronica's Facebook page currently has over 1,200,000 likes, a direct result of her beautifully shot photos that feature almost all of her inked up skin, but also due to her keen understanding of how to use social networks.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That is how people get in contact.
What started with pictures and poses is now about to become a business. In 2015, Gomez and a few of her very talented friends are getting into the publishing game.
It's Texas Ink Magazine, and it's changed the way that people think. Everybody associates tattoos and alternative with negative.
So we're trying to make a magazine that everyone can look at, everybody can read, and they're going to see this beautiful artwork, but they're actually going to get content.
The most visual member of this group will be the first to tell you that it takes the right players to make it work.
There's about 9 people on the team. There's hair, makeup, publicist, someone
the photographer's right over there. Get to him pretty soon.
Oh yeah, photographer, of course. Like that's the main thing. Take 3.
Find out what's under the ink this January when Texas Inked hits the newsstands. In North Houston, Ruben Dominguez, Fox 26 News.
Images like this are too common here because you're seeing people being rescued.
I might have to pull him in right here. You go back over here.
And we're seeing this guy being rescued here right now. And so he's going to be in the boat. We're going to step out of the way so we're not taking up too much room. But
I've got an address for you when you're ready.
you can see he's getting on the boat now. And luckily he's here to safety. There's so many of these stories that we've been reporting on all morning long, and people just realize that the water has just risen so much and there's nothing that they can do, and they have that feeling of hopelessness, and that's when they decide they need to do something.
Fox 26's Matthew Seudorf live at Toyota Center, where you see those fans are all kinds of energized by getting to be in person.
Yeah, Caitlin, so much energy. Everyone leaving here with smiles. They all had a great time. You can see just a whole lot. Look at that super fan right here. So many fans out here tonight, and they're just excited to be back. Opening to fireworks and a frenzy of fans. For the first time in almost a year and a half, WWE SmackDown is back with a crowd.
That's what WWE was missing, was fans.
And feel the power.
These super fans in line holding their belts, greeted with a surprise.
For a year and a half, we haven't had any of this. This is what we do. Houston!
The WWE superstars excited too to be in a ring with more than 11,000 fans around the rope.
We create moments, we create memories with our fans. We do that together, and now we can do that again.
Because it's live and you get to sit in front of the people who consume what you do, is you get that immediate feedback, and that's what I love, and that's what we're going to get back to.
Our job is to put smiles on fans' faces, but it's not said enough that the fans put a smile on our faces.
Everyone knows all great wrestlers have a cool nickname.
Matthew Seudorf, okay.
So of course, I need one too.
I already had something in mind. I was going to go with the pipe cleaner.
The sea monster would be right, you know? Right. That rolls right off the tongue.
Pipe cleaners are great because they can get in those little crevices. I can't get in those crevices.
You want to sound tough, right? So like at least it's like, oh man, the sea monster's coming out. And then like you come out and then people can form their own opinion.
There's something there, I'm telling you.
The pipe cleaner!
You're embracing it. That's what I love to see.
Let me see you walk. Daddy, look here. We got a star right here in the making. Sign him up and let's put him in the ring tonight. SmackDown live, Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas, and the tour continues for SmackDown to at least 25 cities. Jonathan, Caitlin, now the question is, do we want to go with the sea monster or the pipe cleaner? Right now I'm thinking the pipe cleaner, the pipe cleaner. I don't know. That's up to you guys. What do you think?
I'm still team pipe cleaner.
I gotta go pipe cleaner. I love it. And Booker T was right. You gotta have the walk down. So I think you're already well in your way, Matthew. We love it.
All right, tell that little man, have fun, enjoy Matthew.